G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Alliance Wars. Man, it's been like 3 or 4 seasons since I've done Alliance War videos, but I really wanted to get back into it. I'm going to be a different format from now on. Apologies in advance for my voice, by the way. I've been pretty sick this week, so hopefully I can get through this video. I've got this face cam on. Got the face cam on for War now, which is nice. I like having the face cam on. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a different format for War now. Instead of just one video per War, I'm going to be doing one video per week, so a little bit more condensed. But because I like focusing on quality rather than quantity on this channel. And I felt like the previous setup I was doing, like some of the wars were a bit dilute because sometimes I'd only take like 3 or 4 fights per war. This way I can squeeze in like 12 to 15 fights per week, which is a much better way to showcase, I think, that rather than just little videos every 3 or 4 days or 2 or 3 days. But yeah, so I hope you guys like that. But because it just allows me to focus on other projects that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. But yeah, let's get into it. So we're in season 62. This is season 62, week 1, and the first war against the big dogs, LVT. Now the first fight we have here is a Nova on path 6. Now, if you know 2 things about Nova, it's he doesn't like guaranteed crits because he will reduce the damage by a lot. And he'll also start going unblockable and auto block and everything. So that's not good. But the good thing is that he's not like Lumatrix is not like Corvus or Ghost. He doesn't have guaranteed crits straight away, but he will get guaranteed crits as soon as he gets to 8 cunning, which will happen when we heavy charge and also throw specials. But I thought we could get this fight done at 7 cunning. You can see I'm playing this fight very, very well. Just eating every single hit I can. I did feel quite a bit of lag actually in this fight, so I did reset the game after this fight. I made the genius move here. We are on 7 cunning, so this is the sweet spot. A combo into a striker here, and I thought this last combo could finish him off with 5 crits, but it didn't quite. And you can see we throw a special 1 because I got greedy. The tracking fell off, so he faltered a few hits, and then he threw a special 3. I thought I was dead here. I genuinely thought I was dead. I skipped it. We're down to 18%, but luckily he wasn't unblockable or anything, so we were able to block there and counter. But definitely a very scary start to the season. Definitely could have gone a lot worse, but luckily we survived. Okay, so next up we have a Void. This is on the Phantom Bleed node on path 6. So whenever basically you hit him, he gets a chance to get a bleed debuff, and then whenever he gets a bleed debuff, you get an exhaustion debuff. So the Lumatrix is one of the best options for this fight because he hasn't applied bleeds naturally, but also his endurance has reduced the duration of those exhaustions by quite a lot. But yeah, you can't really use like Mole Man easily for this fight. You've got to use Lumatrix or someone else. But we can do this fight pretty quickly. We get up to 7 cunning, combo into a special 1, and then into a special 2, guaranteed crits, and he basically goes down all the way. We get a few more hits in with our invisibility, and he goes down in like just over 30 seconds. So pretty quick fight for Lumatrix. Okay, next up, we're on to path 1. Now, they placed an Anti-Venom here. I could have used Lumatrix for this fight. However, there is a chance that Anti-Venom can put a deceleration on you when he throws his special 1, and that reduces your evade chance by 30%. So it was a bit of a risk using Lumatrix. That's why we used Shang-Chi. This is only Shang-Chi fight for the war, but he does it pretty easily with the cleanse. We can just not worry about the debuffs. Throw a special 2 there. Probably could have gotten a few more charges, and the special 2 could have one-shot, but didn't really worry about that too much. You can see the power back boost basically get us back to another special 2 anyway. You go for another cleanse and then finish him off there in just over 30 seconds. Okay, so next up we have Buffet Havok. Now this, you need to pay attention at the start of this fight, and I will pause it so you guys can see. Now, what's going to happen here is our armor up buff gets nullified at the start of the fight, right? Now, the buffet timer, I can't remember which one it was. It's either the timer next to the regen or the end timer. I can't remember. In fact, I want to say it's, yeah. So it's that timer next to the regen. That timer next to the regen is the buffet timer. So when that expires, our next buff will be nullified. But you can see we're going to hit him here. Our dexterity falls off. But here our dex, make sure that gets nullified because in about 2 seconds, we're going to get our armor up buff back. But if we hadn't dex just before the armor up buff came back, the armor up buff would have just been nullified again. And we would have had a chance to die to plasma degen, to plasma damage. Probably not, because like Warlock's a very quick attacker, and with infection, we can keep his power controlled with heal block. But it's just a risk that we didn't want to have to worry about. It's just a factor we don't have to worry about if we just have the armor up buff there. So that was nice. Havok does reduce your critical damage by a bit, but Warlock still did it, 40 seconds, which wasn't too bad. Okay, and then the final fight for war number 1 against LBT is a Node 41 High Evolutionary. So pretty good placement because it's power focus 2. I don't like dealing with this special 2, as I'm sure most people do. But yeah, Lumatrix is really good for High Evolutionary, especially this tactic because of the extra endurances you get. It's just a lot of free openings with the invisibility and the heavies. I do make a few mistakes in this fight. Usually a lot of back-to-back heavies. I definitely wasn't, super conscious about that. But it doesn't really matter because the auto block doesn't stun you or anything, so we don't have to worry about too much about it. It just slows the fight down a little bit sometimes. See, the root debuff basically lasts for like 1 second because of all our endurances. Luckily, it's a debuff and not a passive. The only thing that Lumatrix can't really do easily is worry about the combo detonation. You can see we've got to do 10 more hits before that detonation expires. That's not really going to happen because of our playstyle that we're going for. It's a very slow and safe playstyle. So you see, we still need to do 4 more hits. We only lose about 17% health, which isn't really too bad. I'm sure there's a way you can do it without taking that detonation damage, but I wasn't really worried about it too much. It's only 1 detonation. I was pretty confident that we could finish him off before the next one. So we one more special 1. Here I should have just done like medium, light, medium, but I think I go for a heavy for some reason. We go for another medium, light, medium into a special 1. That gets our unblockable, refreshes the invisibility. Then we go medium, light, medium into special 2. So light, medium into special 2. And he goes down just like that. So yeah, pretty safe counter there for High Evolutionary. All right, so we're into War 2 now. We unfortunately lost to LBT as expected, but we're against X-Men Phoenix now, so they are a weaker alliance than us. But the first fight we had against them was actually a rank 4 Lizard, the brand new champion that just came out like a week ago. But Lizard, he's not really much of a defender. He's not too bad to fight, especially with Lumatrix. Lumatrix is quite good for him. Because basically whenever you hit him, he regens like 60% of the damage he takes. Unless you are using a guaranteed crit from a skilled champion. I messed up a few times in this fight, but he doesn't really hit that hard. The main thing I did was I just practiced his special 1, which isn't really bad. It's just 5 hits, and I'll count them out here, I think, when he throws it. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and like most of them are just like short range swipes, so it's not really too bad to dex. We get up to 8 cunning, so now he's not going to trigger any more regens for the fight unless our cunning falls off. And we can use our heavy and our invisibility for openings, which is nice, and he's going to go down pretty quickly. Get a nice medium, well, full combo basically. And then I think I charge my heavy while he has a bar of power, which is stupid. I don't know why I did that. I should have just thrown the striker. But we basically finish him off here with that striker and then 1 more hit. So yeah, not too bad for the new champ. Okay, so next we have a Domino. So this is on the exact same node that you saw that Void on last war, the Phantom Bleed node. This is a better placement for Domino, I think, because she's just a pain in the ass when she gets bleeds. Because she has a 50% chance to purify them and then gain like a lot of power. So Bastion doesn't really have any good passive power control. He does have its disintegrations, which do reduce combat power rate. So I'm just gonna have some tea here because my throat is killing me. But yeah, he's very safe for this fight. His infection charges also reduce the chance for critical failures to happen. So we may have taken like 1 or 2 critical failures in this fight, but whenever we fail her critical failure, she's going to get a disintegration vulnerability, which is that second icon there that's just fallen off. She'll get more later in the fight as we fail more critical failures. There's a lot of failures, I'm saying, in this fight. But we've got our special 2 off with infection, so we can basically combo into special 1 here. We've got our pursuit up, so she's not going to evade. Disintegration vulnerabilities have come up because she's trying to crit fail us, but it's not working. I mean, we may have lost a bit of burst damage, maybe from ability accuracy, but we really don't really care because it's just a quick fight and then she's dead. Okay, so onto path 1 again. So we're actually taking the same paths as we took last war, which is path 6 into path 1. But we're path splitting this path 1 in this war. So we're just taking this Captain Britain here. Bastion, probably the best Captain Britain counter for Alliance War because he's just very safe. I mean, Maker's very good as well, but Bastion is generally quicker because you don't really take too much neuro damage in this fight. Similar to Domino, whenever you fail her energy damage, in this case it's neuro shock, she's going to get disintegration vulnerabilities. In this fight, I probably should have just spammed special 1s because it would have done heaps of damage. Unfortunately, it took me a while to get the special 1 off. We do get the special 2 off with infection, but she does regen a lot of that damage back because it's energy damage and there's high energy die in this fight. So I probably could have avoided throwing the special 1. Sorry, the special 2. We throw a special 1 here. You see with the infection, with the double fury, we get a lot of damage in. But she did regen from the actual hits themselves. So, and then when she triggers 10 regens, she goes unblockable. We get a nice intercept there. And then I think we throw a heavy. I didn't really need to throw a heavy. I should have just comboed into a special 1. But it's fine. The fight goes down right there. So I actually had to wait a few hours before I did my last 2 fights, and I had to reboost, unfortunately, but it's not too bad. But the fight we got here is Mixmaster Cassandra Nova. So Bastion pretty good for this because well, he's a tactic attacker, obviously. We very geniusly lose our indestructible there. But he's got very easy access to pursuit from his heavy attack. His heavy attack is one of my favorites in the game. You just get so much range from it. You see, we easily punish a second hit of a heavy there when most champions probably can't with their heavy attack. This isn't a stun immune fight, but there is some nodes that there's like 2 nodes that punish stuns, so we don't really want to stun, like have to worry about stuns, and we don't really need to. We get our, I think we get a special 2 off here. I threw it prematurely though, because we didn't have our infection up, so we only get 1 fury from it. And we still don't have our infection up here mostly because we're just not parrying, because each parry gives you 2 infection charges. Here, I really should not have thrown the special 1. I should have waited till I got the infection up. I just threw it because I don't know, I was anxious, I guess. So that special 1 really didn't do as much damage as it could have. But now we finally had the infection up, so we can basically combo into a special 1. We threw 1 more heavy just out of a habit mostly, but also to get the situation up again. And when we combo into a special 1 there, and she goes down. So definitely not the best, but not too bad really. Alright, and the last fight for this war, war number 2, is a Node 44 Bullseye. I've played this fight so much better in the past. This is definitely not the best example of the fight. This is Hazard Shift, Poison, Rupture, and also Stun Immunity. Stun Immunity is fine because we can easily heavy punish his heavy, which we do now for the pursuit. The only Hazard Shift in the game that Bastion really can't handle is Rupture, and we do have a Hazard Shift Rupture here, but there's also Poison, so we're not going to take any damage from the Poison debuffs. And we're also not going to... The poisons also don't reduce our regen rate at all. Bastion has that nice thing going for him. We miss a reparry and then get reparried ourselves, unfortunately, so that was a bit of a clown fest there. But you can see the regens are just really just keeping us topped off so easily, because whenever Bullseye tries to bleed us, we just trigger regen again. So you can see even throwing that special 1, that regen just gets topped off again, so we can heal backed up close to full. So even though we've eaten like half a combo, we're still at 85% health. We finally get a special 1 off with this situation, and we just intercept with the striker here. Didn't need a heavy here, but we do. Into another special 1, and he goes down in just over a minute. Alright, so now we're into War 3. So we took 5 fights War 1, 5 fights War 2. Just the 4 fights, I think, this war, but they're actually pretty scary fights on paper. We're against New Nation now, so they are also a pretty tough alliance. We're starting from path 1, actually, with Black Cat against Ebony Moore, which is not sort of a matchup you normally think of for Ebony Moore in general, but she actually is quite good for him for several reasons. You can easily heavy punish his heavy and also his special 1 with your own heavy, which is very good for getting card transfers, because that's how she is able to boost up her cruelties. You see, whenever we transfer the card, she's going to get a lot of cruelties based on like what combo she has. There is unfortunately a drip feed placebo node. That's just feeding MD, and I expected to take a burst of degen from him throwing the special 1. It was basically impossible to avoid that unless we just baited special 2s, which I can dex, but I decided if he did throw a special 2, we would just block it. But I wanted to do this fight with minimal dexes. The good thing is, because of the placebo is just feeding the special 1s, we're able to easily heavy punish each time. You can see we're up to 10 cards, 12, 13 card transfers. But the sabotage actually did trigger on its own because we didn't throw a special 2 in time. I probably could have thrown a special 2 maybe, but he also did have his special 2, so we had to dex that. Well, we had to block it. It only took about 10% damage, which wasn't too bad. And now that we've got the sabotage on, or the critical bleeds at least, he's just going to melt. And so there is personal space regen as well, but Despair is cancelling out all of that regen, and he goes down in just over a minute. So it wasn't too bad really, for someone who's not a science champion. Okay, so next we have Lumatrix, Shocker. Lumatrix vs Shocker. So we do actually have Odin buffs, not for this fight, it's for the next Lumatrix fight. I just put them on now so I didn't forget later. In general, Lumatrix is really, really good for Shocker. Because you can get very easy openings with your evade and also then your invisibility. But also you can use your invisibility to intercept, and that's how you get rid of his Vibro Shock charges. You remove 50 whenever you intercept him. So you can see throwing back-to-back special 2s. Here's a Max Sig Shocker. We can intercept here. That reduces 50 of his Vibro Shock charges. I think I will have to intercept him at least one more time after he throws his next special one. Yeah, I think here he gets up to 60 or something. Yep, so we're going to intercept him one more time before we throw our special 2, which we do to here. And I think even again we have to intercept him one more time because he just gets to 50 there, so he would have been able to auto block us again. Unless we threw the special 1 first, we would have gone unblockable, so he can't block unblockable. He's not one of those weird champions. But we throw a special 2 there, and that gets him down in about a minute, so it wasn't too bad really. Okay, so this next fight is a high evolutionary, node 20. Now this is a very tricky node for a lot of attackers because there is strike counter, vitality. Now, how that works is you see those charges up there, there's green, yellow, and orange charges. So the greens correspond to lights, the yellows to mediums, and the oranges to heavies. And so whenever you use one of those attacks, the charge goes down, and whenever you get to 0, he's going to start gaining vitality charges. So you can see our heavy charge is down to 0. The only way to reset this is by throwing a special. But I didn't want to throw Black Cat Special 1 in this fight because the Black Cat Special 1, it doesn't really do anything apart from give you like 1 cleanse. It's more of a defensive special. The problem in this fight was that there is use it or lose it. Basically, whenever you get a bar of power, if you don't throw a special, I think it's going to power drain you for 20% of your max power, which is like half a bar of power. Well, at least half a bar of power. If you don't, well... And yeah, unless you use a special. So what we had to do was basically get high enough above 1 bar of power so that we didn't get power drained to below a bar of power. But you can see right here, you get power drained to just below a bar of power. And I'm going to fast forward in this fight because I didn't really adjust my playstyle until because I was trying to prevent the regen. See, he has like 60 vitalities. If he regens from like his 1% health, he's going to regen 100% in like 5 seconds with all these vitalities. But you see here, every time we get power drained, it's like just below a bar of power. And we get closer and closer like each time, but every time it's like just below. You can see even that one, it was just below still, which is very unfortunate. And so you can see the timer is ticking down so much. I think maybe it was this one. No, even there, it's still just below a bar of power. I think maybe it was the next one here. Here. Finally, I get like high enough above a bar of power. Where was it? Here. I'll play the fight from here. You see, we could just get high enough where we don't get power drained to below a bar. But we really need this special 2 to actually do damage, get our sabotage damage going, get our critical bleeds going. That's what we need to access it. So what I should have done is just rush the special 2 as quickly as I could without worrying about the degen. Sorry, the regen. So you can see here, we bait one more special 1. Here, we're just so close to special 2. We heavy here to get some more cruelties, and then we basically light into the special 2. We've got our critical bleed passive. He just melts so quickly. Each like 6 critical bleeds, each one doing 3k per tick. So he's bleeding loud, like 18k per tick, so quickly. We obviously don't want to trigger the regen now because that's going to just reset the fight and we're going to 100% time out. So we definitely want to kill him before we have to worry about any regen. We managed to pause the critical bleeds for as long as we could, but that critical bleed passive has fallen off. But you can see we're still able to control him down now all the way until he dies. I think one more parry. We bait a parry here, I think, and then one more combo gets him down all the way. So yeah, pretty scary fight, actually. I did not think about it as much as I should have. Okay, and then the final fight of this war was node 29 or something, node 29. It's EMP mode, basically. Now, the reason I couldn't use Lumatrix for the previous fight is because High Evolutionary would have placed crossfight devolve debuffs, which would have countered the Void's degen damage. So we had to alternate champs there. I'm using Lumatrix. Now, I made a mistake here because you see I'm at 18 hits here, right? I think I charge an evade here. But unfortunately, I get to 20 hits just before his Bane timer starts. Right, like literally like a millisecond before. And unfortunately, he gets an agility, 30% chance to fail my dex, and of course he fails it, throwing a special 1. That was unfortunate. So I threw a special 2 out of panic. I wasn't in guaranteed crit form yet. I wasn't at 8 cunning, but I just wanted to get rid of that agility, which we did, but we still had petrify on us, just ticking us down like 1,000 a tick. Of course, we get another agility again, which is not great. We can't evade freely. But I take the risk, I think. Very, very, very risky play there because he had a bar of power. He could have thrown the bar of power, thrown the special 1, but also could have just hit us and failed the evade. So very sketch fight there, mostly because of bad RNG, but I also didn't manage the Bane timer very well. But that will conclude the video for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite fight was. Mine was probably the Phantom Bleed Domino, but there were some cool fights from this from this week, sorry. And I'm looking forward to show the rest of the season in the future 2 weeks. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you around. Peace out.